Welcome to the Meet Crete podcast, where we sit down and talk with people who make Crete run every day. Hi, I'm Dave. I'm one of the creative producers inside the communications department at Crete Carrier. Today, we're going to talk to somebody who has a pretty fascinating job for me. Jon Ziegler, who is the fuel and licensing manager. How are you?
Good.
Thanks for sitting down. I appreciate it. I know this is like outside of your comfort zone, but you play competitive sports for a long time. So think of it as, I don't know, arm wrestling or something. I don't know. You'll be fine. It'll be great.
Sounds good.
Originally, you're not from here, right?
Not born here. I was born up in Falcon Heights, Minnesota. Moved here 1990 when I was 5 years old. My dad took a job in a trucking company.
Oh, really?
Ironically enough, yeah. He was an accountant, so really no ties to that. But we moved here in 1990. Been here ever since. So grew up, went to Lincoln Lutheran High School here in Lincoln, and then college out in Concordia.
And when did you study out at Concordia?
Business administration.
So you graduate with that, and do you decide the first thing I want to do is go work with fuel in a trucking company? Or?
Yeah, not even close. Nope. I knew Dean Tracer from growing up. His son and I grew up playing basketball, soccer, went to high school together. So I kind of knew Dean, and I needed to do an internship to complete my business administration program. So talked to him. Crete really didn't have much for internships back then. In fact, to my recollection, it might have been the first one.
Really?
And they kind of didn't know what to do with it. They kind of created a spot where they're like, hey, we'll start you in this department. We're going to move you around to 5 or 6 different departments. And then from there, if you want to stay at Crete, we can figure out a spot. And it worked out. I got to the second department, which was the licensing with Larry Geiger, who had been here a long time and was getting ready to retire, and just kind of stuck there. So that had nothing to do with the fuel part. It just kind of
it evolved.
Yeah.
So you start off sharpening pencils for Dwayne Ackley,
basically,
and then he was here when you started, right?
Yep. Yeah, I got to meet him right from the start. He wasn't as actively involved by the time I got here, but as people will tell you, he was in the office a lot. You'd see him down in the lunchroom. You'd have a conversation with him. So,
well, that's interesting. You mentioned a friend of yours that you knew from sports. Sports is kind of a theme that runs through your life, right? So,
yeah.
Talk about your family connection to sports. It didn't start with you. It started with your parents, right?
Yep. Well, it actually started my grandpa. And a lot of people around here, they see me wear my Minnesota Gopher gear quite frequently. My grandpa played football at the University of Minnesota, and then my dad played 1 year of basketball there his freshman year. Then he transferred to a D3 school, Augsburg, where my mom was at, running track and playing volleyball. So that's where they met. That's where my Minnesota ties come from. And it's kind of, for good and bad, stuck with me my entire life, I guess.
My in-laws are like that. They're always talking about the Gophers, and I had a niece who played Gopher volleyball for 5 years, and it's a big deal up there. I mean, sports is just a plain big deal up in Minnesota anyway, right?
Yep. And then I married a Packers fan. So,
oh my gosh!
So I'm a Vikings fan. She's Packers.
How do you ever stay together?
It actually works out. It works well.
That's great.
Yeah.
But as a kid, you were actively involved with sports as well. You had a pretty decent, was it Little League or was it an advanced league of some kind?
It's actually the Lincoln Rebels baseball program is where I came up. First played youth baseball, but I did about every sport. I was playing soccer, basketball, football, baseball. So all of it. I was fortunate when I played. My first year was with the same team as Alex Gordon and Jabba Chamberlain for the Lincoln Rebels. And here we are. I don't even know how many years later, but my son's playing now at the same age group that I played at.
That's great.
For the Lincoln Rebels. So it's kind of gone full cycle.
That's bizarre.
Yep.
Isn't that bizarre?
It is.
Wow. So, like, I'm assuming Alex and Jabba didn't sit on the bench ever.
Jabba did.
Oh, I'm sure
then,
he was probably not a great
He was
kid.
He was a year younger than us, but yeah, back then you'd have had no clue that he was going to be a
There's no way
professional
anybody
pitcher.
beat you guys.
We were pretty good.
Yeah, I
Pretty
would
good team.
imagine.
Yeah. But Alex back then, I mean, you knew he was going somewhere, even in Little League, the swing that he had.
Really?
Yeah.
How many World Series rings are between your teammates? Like, is that 4?
Probably. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty bizarre.
But yeah, it's.
And what does that feel like when you're at home watching them on TV?
It was pretty wild, especially Alex started playing. He got drafted while I was just finishing up college because he went to Nebraska the full 4 years. So probably about the time I was starting at Crete was when he got drafted. And, things were a little rocky for him to start with. He had to change positions and
he did
become an
all right.
outfielder. Yeah.
He did all right.
I think he did. But
And now
again,
he's retired and we're not. So
again, I'm a Twins fan, not a Royals fan. So I was cheering against him a lot.
yeah, well, I get that. It's the area. So you're a Vikings, you're a Twins fan, Gophers fan, Timberwolves.
Gophers.
I was going to ask you about Timberwolves as well.
Yep.
And so you've done every sport there is to do.
Except a run. My mom was a track coach at Lincoln Lutheran, and that disappointed her when I did not go out for track. I don't like running.
Well, especially a guy like
run.
you, tall, you should be running hurdles.
Yeah.
That's
Nope.
I always got
She
that.
wanted hurdles and high jump, but
No?
nope.
Not interesting
that's
at all?
Not me. Nope. I played soccer.
But you're a competitive guy.
Yes.
What is that like at a trucking company? Do you bring that to work with you?
Somewhat. I like being challenged. I would say that's probably the biggest thing that I take away from all of my sports. If there was a challenge or a problem that I had to overcome, I liked tackling that head on, finding other ways to do things, working with other people. I kind of correlate it to sports a lot, and that's helped me out. So I would say I had no idea what I was getting into when I got into trucking, and the way that you can, the life lessons you learn in sports have helped for the job. And my time at Concordia and all my classes that I had definitely prepared me for situations that I find myself in now.
That's great. And I'm glad you're competing on our behalf. Explain to me a little bit about fuel and licensing, because this actually fascinating. It's kind of logistics. It's kind of, I don't know. It's a lot of different disciplines, but it's kind of its own thing too. So walk us through what you do every day.
Yeah, it is there's a lot of people that probably don't know a whole lot about what I do on a daily basis. But yeah, there's so many different moving parts to it, just from the licensing aspect of it. You look at the amount of trucks and equipment that we have, over 5,000 trucks, 13,000 trailers, everything's moving out on the road on a daily basis, all 48 states. So you're looking at different jurisdictions that we've got to be legal inside of. We cycle through 1,500 new trucks a year. So we're putting new trucks on, pulling them off. I work with the sales team as far as the trades and sold trucks. I work with the tractor assignments team, the new equipment that's going out on the road. There's just a lot of communication and timing issues that go with that. And then, you tie in with the operations. We've got different lanes that we run, alcohol loads, hazmat loads. Everything's got to be legal in a certain state. So trying to figure all that out can be a huge jigsaw puzzle. But that's kind of the part where I know I'm never going to have a boring day when I come in.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times I show up, I think I'm going to do one thing and work on it, and it just goes in a completely different direction, which time flies when stuff like that's happening. So
Well, you won
I
the
don't mind
challenge,
that.
so there you go.
Yeah. Yep.
You mentioned that you were like one of the first internships here. When you got here, how high tech was it compared to what you're doing now?
Not even close. So Larry Geiger was probably my first mentor that I really worked one-on-one with when I got to Crete. And we had the two of us sat kind of in a cubicle back to each other. And in between us, we had a typewriter. and even me, just getting out of college, we didn't have typewriters in any of the classes that I was in. So he was old school. Still did some of that stuff. We had filing cabinets out back in the old shop, just stuffed full of years worth of licensing of trucks, owner operator contracts, and kind of what he told me is, hey, see if you can figure out ways where we can go paperless with this, not have to use the typewriter, all this other stuff. So it was definitely um, old school from the get go. Still a lot of paperwork, documents that you got to take down to the state of Nebraska, but we've cut way down on that. I don't go out to the old shop anymore for any of my documents.
You don't?
No, I don't.
Not a warehouse full of
Right.
filing cabinets.
Basically, we're down to titles for all the trucks.
Or still paper.
Yep. I mean, those are the original titles. And I would imagine at some point those will go electronic, but yeah.
You've seen a lot of change in it. I mean, in a career's lifespan, it feels long, but it's a relatively short period of time. It's like 1,000 times faster than when you started.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what it would be like to do your first day of work today?
That'd be wild. It'd take a lot longer for sure.
It would.
Yeah.
I bet it would. What are you excited about in the future so far as technology and what you do every day?
I mean, there's a lot of changes going on with everything. Just on the licensing aspect, the state of Nebraska, we're making changes. They are with their website and everything we do there to license the truck. Right now, it's kind of a put the trucks on the road, do all the paperwork on the back end to get license plates out the door. And they're changing that where it's basically we're going to put a truck on the same day we get the plate, we get the cab card, we get everything we need to legally send the truck on the road. Now, obviously, we're sending them out from different terminals, so still got to track them down. But it should expedite that process. The fleets group's well aware. Putting that many trucks on, you're tracking down that many drivers. It can be that 45-day window you get to get that stuff on a truck goes fast. So that part of it from the licensing side, it'll be change. It'll be different, but we'll adapt to it. And excited for that. But fuel-wise, there's new changes every day, it feels like, with that.
There's a new price on gas every day.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
Yeah. But the software we use, we've switched who we use for our optimizer and fuel recently. Just a lot of other things that tie into my department that a lot of people don't even know about is like our tolls, the devices we use on the trucks for tolls all across the country. Huge expense. Trying to best utilize the devices that we have and then the software we have with routing to try and minimize our toll costs, how we're routing drivers. So, I mean, there's so many moving parts to all of that. It's just a daily puzzle.
I bet.
Figuring it out.
Maybe we get you a typewriter and then it solve it.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to get me anywhere.
You talked about one of your kids playing ball. You've got a family, so a wife.
Yep. My wife and I. She's from Hastings College. She went to Lincoln Southwest, but we didn't meet in college.
Didn't know
We
each
met
other here
after college. I'd been working here probably 1 or 2 years when her and I started dating. Got married in 2012. Have 3 kids now. 10-year-old boy, Mauer, named him after a baseball player for the Twins. Olivia is 7, and our other daughter, Tatum, is 5.
And all active in sports, and you guys are running everywhere, dropping off in practice. And
yep. 2 weekends ago, we were in Des Moines for baseball. Last weekend, I were at a baseball tournament in Lincoln. Had soccer games Saturday and Sunday for the girls. Had basketball clinic Sunday night for the middle daughter.
Never stops.
It doesn't.
It's great though.
It is.
I miss that time.
Yeah, and when I first got out of college, and I played on the Crete basketball team when I got here. Made it all through college. Never a serious injury. Tore my meniscus first year I played for the Crete basketball team. So,
oh man,
I've kind of hung up the shoes from any competitive sports that I play anymore. I stick to the golf course.
There's snacks in the stands. I don't know why people don't realize that. You don't have to be down in the field. You could be up here with us.
Yep.
And it'd be great. Thanks for sitting down. Really appreciate it. It was good to meet you. Good to learn a little bit about you and keep the fuel pumping. We appreciate it.
Yep.
Thanks a lot.
82 million gallons a year we do. So
82 million?
It's kind of a fun fact. A lot of people
Good
probably
grief.
don't know.
You have friends in Saudi Arabia? That's a lot. That's a lot of gas.
Yep.
Well, thanks for managing all of it because we need it, obviously.
Yeah.
And it's not going away anytime soon.
No, it's not.
Thanks for listening and thanks for watching the Meet Crete podcast. Just a reminder, you can find all of our weekly updates, driver stories, and more episodes of this podcast right here on our YouTube channel. We'll be back to find out more about the people we work with inside Crete Carrier and Schaefer Trucking in the next episode of Meet Crete.